Hi there, folks. Sean Broderick from the PDAC. And now I'm talking to Amir Adnani. He's the CEO and president of UEC, which is a great little uranium company, one you should take a look at. Could you please give my viewers a overview of what your company is doing?
Sure. Our company is 12 years old. Uranium Energy Corp is Corpus Christi based, listed on the NYSE MKT UEC, ticker UEC. Our focus has been on acquiring uranium projects that could be developed and mined with a very low cost, in fact, the lowest cost way of mining uranium, called in situ recovery, or ISR. This method today is responsible for 40% of global uranium production in Kazakhstan and the United States. And it is, as I mentioned, the lowest cost way of mining uranium, and also the most environmentally friendly because of the very small footprint that it has. So we focused on the South Texas uranium belt. This area has the uranium deposition or geology that would be amenable to the in situ recovery method. Over the years, we have acquired and developed a hub and spoke strategy. So we have a centralized processing plant at Hobson. We have a number of projects, 5 uranium projects as satellites that are at various stages of development. Our Palangana project is fully built and permitted. It's on standby, waiting for a uranium price recovery before we resume production there. We produced for a few years from 2010 to 2013, but when we saw the uranium price pull down, we put it on hold, cut costs, and focused on development. So we have our Goliath project, which is fully permitted, but our most important project, really, which is the largest in Texas, is called Burke Hollow, where it's 20,000 acres. It's a grassroots discovery that our team made in 2012. We've also advanced the permitting. We received our mine permit late last year. We're now going to complete the permitting over the course of this year. And we're going to start a new drilling program there in the next couple of weeks. And so we have a real stronghold, a real base in the South Texas region. The U.S. Geological Survey just wrote a report that outlines the potential of this area as being the least explored for uranium in the U.S. with the greatest potential. It also is a very energy-friendly, business-friendly part of the country. The incoming U.S. Energy Secretary, Rick Perry, was the governor of Texas, longest-serving governor of Texas, and we worked very closely with him. I mean, in fact, while he was governor, we permitted 2 uranium mines in that state, and so speaks to the environment there and the familiarity we have with him as the incoming energy secretary. Outside of Texas, we have uranium projects in Colorado and Arizona that I view as our pipeline for a higher uranium price. And we've also grown our business into the country of Paraguay in Latin America, where we've acquired 700,000 acres under concessions compared to 60,000 in Texas because this Texas lookalike geology. That, again, gives us another great pipeline opportunity where it's in situ recovery amenable, so it's a great technical fit for us.
Okay. I've actually been a 2-year plant in Texas when it was operating, and I think one thing people don't realize is you leave the ground cleaner than you found it. I mean, that's the beauty of that system. You know, you just put the water through and you remove uranium from it. No one wanted to grow anything that was actually grown on, uranium-rich land anyway, and now it has less uranium in it. So it has to be one of the most environmentally friendly mining methods I have ever seen. This isn't like coal or else anything like that. One question that I did want to ask you, what price would uranium have to hit before you guys actually start a production again?
Okay, so just first of all, on your first point about how environmentally friendly and low impact from a surface disturbance in situ recovery is, definitely would be great for your subscribers or visitors to visit uraniumenergy.com, where we have an animation describing and showing the process. It is a method that is really not utilized in other commodities. It plays a significant role in uranium mining and not in other commodities. So it's a great technology to understand better. And it does have all the benefits we talked about. So most of the sales that our company was making were made at, on average, about $45 per pound. And we want to really resume our operations and look to go back into production when we see the uranium price stabilize above $40 per pound, in that $40 to $45 range. And but when you look at the fact that we're a complete 100% unhedged uranium producer, it's also very exciting because we have 100% exposure to the upside in the uranium price. And that's something that in the uranium business, most companies have signed long-term contracts because if you used conventional mining methods to mine uranium, you would have had to raise a lot of money from banks. You have debt. When you have debt, they like you to sign contracts. We stayed unhedged because with this in-situ recovery method, we have lower capital requirements. So our balance sheet is, we've achieved production and we have a facility and all these things, and we only have $20 million of long-term debt. That is remarkable for a company in mining because mining is such a capital-intensive business. Most mining companies have hundreds of millions of dollars of debt on their balance sheet. So it's allowed us to stay 100% unhedged and give full exposure to a higher uranium price. And that really also sets us apart in terms of both the combination, the focus on the low-cost ISR method, already having demonstrated proof of concept with our existing portfolio, but also having complete exposure to an improving uranium market environment.
Great. Looking ahead, what do you think the price drivers for uranium will be?
A combination of everything on the supply and demand side. So on the demand side, about 2010 is when we had the last major contracting cycle where utilities entered the market, bought uranium, signed long-term contracts, and that drove the uranium price. Today, after 6 or 7 years of those contracts now coming to an end and rolling off, we're about to enter a new contracting cycle. So the demand side of the equation looks to be very strong. Now, there's demand for uranium, but then there's also how much uranium needs to be purchased. Mm-hmm. So what is not covered under a contract already. In the next 10 years, there's something around 1 billion pounds of uranium that needs to be purchased by utilities. That is one of the largest uncovered reactor requirements we have seen in a long time. So that makes me look and say, hey, the demand side looks very compelling. On the supply side, the uranium price has gotten so low over the last few years. It's at a 12-year low, and it's below any uranium mines all-in cost of production. And what that does is that it's led the way in 2016 and in early 2017 to production cuts from the majors. So Kazatomprom, which is the state-run uranium mining company of Kazakhstan, Cameco, the big players are announcing production cuts. You know that's basically when rubber hits the mat and that they just can't produce uranium economically, so they start announcing these cuts. So you have the production cuts on the supply side, you have the emergence of a new contracting cycle on the demand side, all of that, and then you wrap around it the changes in the political winds. The fact that you have a new administration in the U.S. which was way more pro-nuclear than the last. Energy friendly. You have Rick Perry as energy secretary. And so these dynamics also play very well into the equation that we're talking about.
Okay. Symbol UEC on the NYSE market, so you don't have to buy it in Canada. You can buy it right in the U.S. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we go?
I would say a couple of things. First of all, pay attention to our team. No other company in the uranium sector has a former U.S. Energy Secretary on their board as chairman. The chairman of our company, Spencer Abraham, was the Energy Secretary of the U.S. under George W. Bush. He's very familiar with what the incoming policies of this administration will be, another Republican administration. And that gives us incredible understanding and connection of U.S. dynamics. U.S. dynamics you must pay attention to because the U.S. imports 95% of its uranium requirements, and much of it from Russia. In the event of sanctions or any supply disruption, there will be a greater need on producing uranium domestically in the U.S. And energy security, national security issues are a big theme with this administration. I would pay attention to that. And we're very well positioned, both with having people that understand these issues who ran the Department of Energy, but also having the right assets and production capability in the U.S. to be able to respond to the very important need of more domestic uranium and growth in uranium mining in the U.S. And lastly, in early January, we were able to complete a very successful equity raise where we completed a $26 million financing. So we're very well cashed up. We have a strong balance sheet where for the next, in terms of going out there, being aggressive, having a war chest, this is a well-capitalized company with the right team, the right chairman, the right technical team and executive team. and at a time where the opportunity in U.S. uranium mining in particular is the best we have seen in a long time.
Good deal. That's a very great story. This company has so much potential. We just need to see the price of uranium move a little higher, and they have really done all the hard work they need to do to get all these things around their main plant ready to go. And so it could be very exciting for this company and for uranium in general. Thanks very much for speaking to my viewers. You folks stay tuned, and I'll have more for you from the
Thank you.
PDAC.